Hey friends, it's the season of love and I have 18 brand new Valentine crafts for 2025. Guys, my name is Tracy. I'm so glad that you're here and let's get started. This sweet little Valentine decor turned out adorable using an after Christmas grapevine tree that I found over at Michael's. The puffy white and pink with the pip berries. It's a mini bead robe. I got that over at Hobby Lobby. And so I said, I am going to make a little Valentine tree. And I think that it just turned out adorable. So I just twisted the pip berry garland around the tree. Now I didn't secure it or anything because it holds on there really well, but you could use wire or jute or anything else that kind of blends in with the grapevine or whatever suits your fancy. Now, for the hearts, I'm going to be just adding a little bit of color to those. Now, these hearts came from the Dollar Tree. I just got them in a pack, also with some bigger ones as well as red, but I just pulled out this size because I wanted those. And then just to add a little bit of color to those, I'm just pulling out a piece of painter's tape and just attaching those to them. The stencil is one that I've had on hand. I'm not quite sure where I got that from, but it has different designs on it, like polka dots. It has hearts. It has different stars, different things like that. But you can get stencils a lot of different places. So I just stenciled on some little mini hearts. And then for the pink ones, I'm just taking the end of a paintbrush, just adding some polka dots on there. Then I use my stylus to add more dots as well. Now, to attach my hearts to something, I just pulled out these sticks. They're kind of like skewers or something like that. I think I got this pack over at Walmart, just giving that a color of antique wax just to give it a brown color. Then just cutting them in half because I just wanted half of those and just going around the edges of my hearts with my vintage photo distress ink just to give them some color, then adding some glitter. I used my adhesive spray and then sprinkling on my glitter. I did some sparkly glitter as well as some pink glittery glitter. And then I'm just going to be adding those embellishments to my tree, just staggering them and gluing them, just sticking them in the grapevine all the way around. And everything looks so nice and pretty. Then I just pulled out some pip berries that I got from Hobby Lobby and then just wrapping those around that kind of just where those sticks are, just kind of camouflaging that a little bit. And then I'm going to be adding some lights. But first, before I do that, I want to add these bows and I'm going to be gluing these bows on there. So I took off the lights and glued these bows on there, camouflaging those sticks a little bit. Then I will add my lights on again. And anytime I make a little tree like this, I always add the lights last because I don't want to risk hot gluing and then ruining the wire and then my lights don't work. Believe me, I've done it. And I don't want to do it again. So I always add my lights last. And then also, if I want to change out the lights or, if the lights don't work anymore, then I can easily take them off. Now, I just added a sweet little bow at the top, just using some different ribbons, trims. I also have some pearls. I just secured everything with a zip tie. Then I did, to attach it to the top of the tree, I just added a piece of wire before I pulled my zip tie tight. And then that is what I just kind of curled around the top of the tree and just secured it there. And everything just looks so cute. I am just absolutely in love with the way that this little sweet little pink and white Valentine grapevine tree turned out. This heart floral decor pocket turned out so sweet, and I love sharing these types of projects with you. Now, what I'm starting with is a heart decor wood piece that I got from Hobby Lobby. This heart measures 15.5 by 14.5 inches, and it's in the Valentine section. Now, what I'm going to do, guys, is go ahead and give it a coat of pink paint, and this pink is vintage Pink by Americana, just drying that up with my heat tool. Then I'm going to take some school glue and go all the way around it. I know I'm going to be putting a pocket at the bottom, but I just like all of my projects finished, so I did the whole entire thing. And so what I'm just taking a foam brush and just smoothing that around. Kind of some areas I have a little bit thicker than others, and then I'm just drying it up to a tacky consistency. And then I'm taking my chalk paint, which is a drop cloth. Now, this is by Dixie Belle, and I'm just going over it just to add some color on the top. And then I'm going to heat that up, and it is going to give the crackle that I like. Again, you're just going to kind of see the crackle on the top, but I wanted my project to be finished, so I'm going all the way, the whole entire heart. Once my paint was all dry, then I just take my flat paintbrush and some milk chocolate brown paint and do some shading all the way around the heart. For the pocket part, I am using some white burlap that I got from Hobby Lobby, cutting that off. Now, this burlap had like a frayed edge on the end, so I'm using that to my advantage and just positioning it around the heart so that I know what I need to cut off and what I need to glue. This right here is felt. I had it in my stash. I also got that from Hobby Lobby. I'm just gluing that down so that it gives it a little bit more form for my pocket, and just cutting that off the way that I want to for this burlap piece. Now, to give the checkerboard the color and the design on the burlap, I'm using my Magnolia Design Co. stencil. I'm just fuzzing it right now because this is a brand new stencil, and it just kind of takes a little bit of the sticky off. I don't even know if I needed to do this since I was going to be painting on actual fabric. But anyway, I am not going to claim that I am the most skilled when it comes to Magnolia Design, because there are tons of other designers and stuff. I am just a creator because I like to get the 30% off discount on my products. And so when they came out with this buffalo check pattern, I'm like, oh yes, this is definitely my style. Anyway, so then I am just taking the pink. I wanted this color of pink. It is the ink of Magnolia Design Co. And I'm just taking a squeegee and just going in, and what it does is it pushes through that transfer and then makes a beautiful pattern. So I'm just peeling it up and revealing the pattern here. Now I'll set that to the side to dry. Went and washed out my transfers so that it did not dry. Anyway, so it was a little bit too bright pink, and so then now I'm just taking some white paint and my just wispy brush and just going over each of the buffalo check, the stripes and stuff, just to kind of subdue them a bit and make them a little bit more whimsy and rustic, the way that I like. And then I just put that to the side to dry. Once it is completely dry, then I'm going to position it on my heart. Now, I want to make sure that I have enough slack in the front so that I can put my styrofoam and my flowers that I want to put in for this pocket. So I am just gluing it in the back, and I will cover all of that up with some felt and that kind of thing, because I do like to finish off my backs as well. Now I'm just adding a little bit of sparkly glitter to my heart because, I just do like the glitter. If you don't like glitter, definitely leave that off. Now I'm just adding some styrofoam to the pocket. I will have links down in the description for the styrofoam that I use, as well as these beautiful flower peonies that I found on Amazon. Now the little fuchsia hot pink. Those are little mini ranunculus that I got at Walmart. I'm also going to be using some other little florals as well as some pit berries, some fine excelsior to just kind of add as a little bit of wispiness to it. I also used some puffy glittery styrofoam hearts that I got from Dollar General, and just really making this floral arrangement decor piece look just so festive and fun for the season. The beautiful fuchsia velvet ribbon is some that I found at Walmart during the Christmas season. Guys, they always hit their ribbon section when they first come out with the supplies, because I can find some really nice ribbon over at Walmart. So I was going to use my little bow dabra just to position this, but it's kind of a little thick, so I just finagled the two loops with my hand and just zip tied it in the middle, just making sure that the right side of the velvet ribbon was looking really nice. Now I'm going to make a small tag, that little Be Mine tag that's on my decor piece, and I get these white tags already painted white in the celebration section over at Hobby Lobby. That's over there by the wrapping paper, gift cards, greeting cards, that kind of stuff for parties. They have white, kind of like a rustic brown, as well as black. And I've used them for different decor pieces and tags over the years for my projects. Anyway, so I'm just taking a little scroll or a little swirl stencil and just stenciling that on. Then I cut out some glitter iron-on vinyl Be Mine on my Cricut, and using Cricut Design Space, and just ironed on that, as well as just some cute little pink hearts. Then to add it to my little decor piece, I just have some fuchsia or hot pink wire, and just tied that tag on there and just stick that in that styrofoam. I did add some pit berries, some of those white puffy heart pit berries. I got this stem over at Hobby Lobby, and it is just the perfect addition for this sweet little Valentine decor piece. This pink and blue love block with little mason jar floral decor turned out so cute. Now, what I used is one of the love blocks that I picked up from Dollar Tree. Now, I've had this in my stash for a few years. The napkins are from Hobby Lobby in their usual celebratory napkins and plates. The 7/8 inch velvet ribbon is from either Craft Outlet or from the WREATH shop. And then I'm also going to be using some glittery pink scrapbook paper for the center. Now, to paint the sides, I'm just using this colonial blue Americana paint. This paint, just painting the sides and the back. And then the napkin, I went ahead and cut it in half, and then putting a layer of Mod Podge on the love block, and then just laying that out just like that. Just using my brayer just to get out any bubbles. Then once that is dry, then I'm going to cut off as much of the excess of the napkin as I can, and then I'm going to be using the kind of fire method just by getting the excess of that paper off, and then that gives it a really nice snug kind of burned look on the edges around. For the centers, I just poke out and also do the little fire method. Now for the center, again, this glittery paper, something that I've had on hand for several years. I'm just gluing that to the back, and then going to have that as the center that little sparkly shines through, and I like that. Now I'm just taking my Dixie Belle grungy distressing ink in brown and just going around the edges. I got a little heavy on the L, but that's okay. I just wiped some of that off. I'm also going to add some glitter with my adhesive spray and my snow swirl glitter. And then for the bow, I just made a 2-loop bow, just having some tails on those, and just zip tied it in the center. And then I'm going to glue that on my little top of my O, just right there, just with some tight bond, quick and thick glue, as well as some hot glue. I use my stapler just to staple some of that down so that it all looks really nice and pretty for this Valentine season. For the sweet little mason jar floral piece, I'm using one of the plastic jars from the Dollar Tree, as well as some different florals, either from Dollar Tree or Walmart. Now, I'm using that same napkin that I got from Hobby Lobby and cutting it down to size, and then just Mod Podging that, adhering that to the mason jar, and just taking my time so that I don't get any bubbles or anything like that. And that is how that looks. Then I'm just taking some glass beads from the Dollar Tree and then just kind of positioning my florals in there. Now I wanted to kind of figure out how I wanted these in there before I glue everything down. And so then once I got the amount I wanted in there, then what I'm going to do is go ahead and actually glue those down. And I use my Lean's tacky glue by doing that, just putting some tacky glue in there and then just swirling those beads around and then just attaching my floral pieces in there as well. And then that is all permanent. Now to finish off the top of the mason jar, I'm just taking some of that 7/8 inch blue ribbon that I have and then just trimming out that top so that everything is nice and cohesive and looks so sweet for this love with little mason jar floral piece. It's kind of like a 2-piece thing. That's kind of what I'm going for. And I just really think it looks so sweet. And the pink and white with the foam hearts pip berries came from Hobby Lobby. And I think it's just the perfect addition for this little 2-piece set of the Love Block with mason jar floral bouquet for this sweet little Valentine season. For this project, we're going to be doing some hand painting, and I so appreciate so many friends that ask for more painting projects. Now, the heart is another one of those wooden hearts from Hobby Lobby. It measures 15.5 by 14.5, and I went ahead and gave it 2 coats of Dixie Belle white, which is a fluff. Well, fluff is the name of the paint, but it's a white paint. I gave it 2 coats of that. Then for the pink, I am using a Master's Touch acrylic paint in the color purple red, even though it's very pink. And so you can get that in the art section over at Hobby Lobby. And so I'm just taking a thicker brush and just doing the faux plaid pattern. That's kind of what I call it. It's just kind of like a buffalo check. You could definitely, if you're not comfortable doing freehand, you can definitely use the painter's tape method or use a stencil or something like that. A scrapbook paper would work as well. But I am just very comfortable in painting, and so I'm just using my paintbrush just to make the stripes on it. Now, it was a little too bright for the pink, so I'm just taking my wispy brush and my white paint and just going along and just giving it some white streaky look the way that I like. And then that kind of takes off a little bit of the bright pink the way that the way that I want this project to look. So then for the where the connectors are, I'm using this darker pink. It's also a Master's Touch acrylic, and it is called Pearlized Vermilion, also from Hobby Lobby. And I'm just taking a flat brush and just going where each of the lines connect and just making them a little bit darker. And I did have to go over these twice in order to get the look that I wanted, and just took my time and did that. Then once all of that is all dry, then I'm going to go ahead and do some shading with my brown milk chocolate, just shade my projects the way that I like them. Then I'm also going to add a little bit of white highlight in each of the uh, squares inside the buffalo check. As I say, as you hear me say all the time, the beauty is in the details. And so then once all of my paint is completely dry, then I'm going to go ahead and outline everything with my black Sharpie marker, give my little doodles and my squiggles and all of that good stuff the way that I like it. And I also like to add some paint splattering to my painted projects with black paint as well as white paint. I just use a stiff brush and a stick, and I fleckle or splatter on the painted or the paint to my project. And a lot of people use their fingers. I've heard toothbrush. I've heard other, like they tap the paintbrush, but this is my process, what works best for me. I do black first, and then I go back and do the white over it. Now, next I'm going to show how I added this Be Mine. I cut it out of Cricut vinyl on my vinyl cutting machine, and just on permanent vinyl. And I'm just using my little scraper here just to get that off of there. And at the end of the video, I will share just really quick how I measured this, because I actually went in Cricut Design Space and looked for a Be Mine, and I couldn't really find one that I liked, so I decided to make my own using a font that is a free font. It's called Magnolia Sky, and so I'm going to show you that next, and how I created it in Cricut Design Space. So here in Cricut Design Space, I'm going to pull out a heart. It's a shape, and I'm going to go up to the top and click the little lock button so that I can resize this to 15.5 by 14.5. Now this is the size of my heart that I'm going to be working with. Just for the way that I like it, I just changed the color to pink. And so then I'm going here to the images and seeing if I can find a Be Mine that I like. There's none that I found that I liked. So I went back over to my canvas, and I'm going to insert a text box, and then I'm going to make my own Be Mine wording. And so I'm just going here, figuring out which one I want. And so I pulled up Magnolia Sky, and that can be found downloaded for free from defont.com. And so I'm just kind of measuring it here, playing around with it to see how big I want it to look on my heart. So then now I'm going to weld my word Mine, and I just right click and click combine and click weld. And then what I want to do is get rid of the pink heart because I don't need that to cut. And so then it was asking me if I want to save my project just for the purposes of the video. I'm just not doing that. So I am figuring out that I don't like the way that that's laid out like that. So I go back to my mat and I bring my heart back so that I can get the visual. And so then I go ahead and attach it down here at the bottom. That way it will cut exactly the way that I have it on my mat. Since I'm going to be making a red one as well that I'll be showing in a different project, so I went ahead and tried to figure out how I can not waste vinyl. So I am manipulating. I went ahead and I doubled it, and I manipulated it so that it will cut out with as least amount of vinyl waste as possible. And so then that's what I'm doing. I'm just using the smart vinyl in my Cricut Explorer machine. And so then that is how my mat looks. And I just cut it out on my Cricut. And then that is what I added to my sign. So since I've done the work in Cricut Design Space, you can kind of see here again how I put it onto my board and everything fits on there really nice. I also wanted to share my tip of adding some glittery hearts. I like to use iron-on vinyl that I get from Hobby Lobby in the die cutting section, and there it's just the perfect addition for this heart. I also made a bow just using coordinating ribbon, and this little door hanger is complete. These sweet little heart bowl fillers or ornaments just turned out adorable using some supplies that I picked up over at Hobby Lobby as well as Dollar Tree. Now, the wooden hearts I got in a 12 pack from Hobby Lobby, and they measure a little over 4 inches by almost 4.5 inches. And the vintage Valentine paper is also from Hobby Lobby. So I'm just going through and picking out 12 sheets of those so that I can make 12 of these ornaments. Now, I had already taken off the jute string from the heart because I'm going to be Mod Podging on the scrapbook paper, and I need it to sit flush to it. So I'm just taking my scissors, trimming that out, each one of those individually. Then what I do is I decide which patterns I want together, because I'm going to be using all 12 of these, but I'm going to be cutting the paper so that I have half of the paper or 3/4 of the paper, or whichever way I want to do it to make the design, and just cut those. And so then I have a top and I have a bottom, or however I want to make the little heart. So I give a layer of Mod Podge to the wooden hearts, let that dry, and then you see here I am just taking two of the patterns that I want, and I cut them both at the same time so that they give me the even cuts. So I'm going to be using one for the top, one for the bottom, and then on another of the ornaments or little bowl fillers, I am going to be using the opposite pattern. And so this is a great way to kind of mix and match patterns and do different ideas with different papers and napkins and things like that. So then I'm just using the Mod Podge heat transfer method just by using my little iron just to reheat that Mod Podge. I use a piece of parchment paper to help add as a buffer. And then what I had found is, since these hearts are a little small, I just take my iron and just pat it on there, meaning don't move it around because I was getting my paper off. And so that's just a little tip that I have for not having your paper to move. Okay, so then once all of that is done, then I'm just taking my little Gator sander scraper here and just going around and getting off any excess paper that I kind of got off, and just kind of distressing it a little bit. I took a baby wipe and my antique wax and just gave some color, some stain on each of the backs of the hearts. And then I went around the edges of each of the hearts just to give it some rustic look that I like. The antique wax just gives it a little bit of kind of shading and just gives me the look that I like. And I just love how each one of these turned out. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of white highlight on some of these where I felt that it showed up. So I just took my flat paintbrush and just went on some of those, just then giving it some glitter with my adhesive spray and my sparkly glitter. This is absolutely totally optional, but I do like glitter and on my little projects. And so then for the wording, I think these love came from Dollar Tree. I also found some other like Kiss and Hugs and XOXO from Hobby Lobby. Some of them were just a little too big for these smaller ornaments, but honestly, I just love how these turned out. So I found best, I like my little Adeline's tacky glue and just some hot glue and just let those dry just like that. Now, Now, then I'm just adding a little bit of polka dot, just using some pink paint, and to the kind of the natural, the love. These came from the Dollar Tree, and then I took just some jute string and just restrung all of those to add just as ornaments. And then I just took different pieces of ribbons and trims, some lace, some beads, just some pom-pom ribbon that I had in my stash, and just made some simple little bows for each one of the ornaments.